Okay, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about qualifying the trade. Here's what we'll go through. We'll go through looking for the best setups and then also letting the trade breathe. Now, before we move into this, we do go over this a little bit in the quick start guide. You should already know what it takes to line up a trade. I'll go through it again in this video, but also I'm going to talk about like the premium, the best setups to take. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the chart. We'll talk about taking the best setups and then we'll move right into letting the trade breathe, where we'll deal with using the EA to manage the stop or not. So let's go ahead and take a look now. Okay, here we are on the chart, and there's a few things before you even take a trade that you still want to do, that you should do before you trade. One is you should go by the tactics in the insider code kit. That first you should take a look at the daily chart. So let me put a few steps up here on the screen. One, you want to look at the daily and the 4-hour chart. You want to look at the trend for the day. You want to see the trend, the strong trend, where the trend is headed, whether or not the market is in an uptrend, a downtrend, or sideways action. Now, you may ask, why do I want to do that? Because you want to be mindful of what the overall trend is when you're taking trades, because that way you may be more open to taking trades in the direction of the trend versus any trades that's not in the direction of the trend. That's the first thing for having some of the best possible setups. The next thing is when the market breaks out of the range or the RS lines. Those are the best setups to take. And when everything lines up on the break. So what do I mean by that? Let me show you. Let me give you an example right here in this area. We're going to zoom in on that. Okay, so here we are. And we see that the market breaks right there on that candle. Now, this is a basic chart. It's a basic template. And like I said before, in the other videos, if you want to add indicators, you can. I would suggest, if you don't really have a clue of what you're doing, almost just to leave it alone and just leave the settings as they are and add an indicator as you see fit. So we see that the market breaks right here. Now, another thing to note is that the market is in a very small range. Okay, so that's the setup that I want to really see. I want to see the market in a very tight range, with in a compression pattern, and then I want to see it break right there, and then I want to see everything just kind of line up down here and here. Okay, so let's look at this. Once it lines up on the break, I'm gonna go to my crosshair tool. It lines up right there on the break. Look at that. We have all the bars red on the lower 3 time frames, and we have a break of this orange line on the T meter. Now that's a good signal. Okay, that shows that momentum may be getting ready to start in the market. From there, we'd have got in right here. Our risk at this point would have been 39 pips. Okay, 38 pips. Okay, so we see that our risk is 38 pips. Now it looks like we could have got stopped out right there. Depending on your broker, you probably could have, maybe not. Even if you did get stopped out, look at this. We get another re-entry right here or right here. Price breaks, we get a signal, boom. Now I don't have the arrows on the chart right now to make it a little bit cleaner, but okay, here's our bar to enter right here. Okay, everything is lining up. Red on all the lower time frames down here, and we're below the T meter. Have a very small range, very short range in here, and now we have the potential for a possible breakout move, which we get, and boom, we take 50 pips right there. Get another signal, probably at this point we probably got a signal right here. Depending on where we would have got in, probably got stopped out at break even, and the market just continues to move down. So of course you already know now by watching the quick start videos, to qualify the trade for a sell setup is very simple. You have a break of one of the lines. In this case, the best setup, in my opinion, is to have a break of the lower support line. Come down here, all bars on the lower 3 time frames are red, and the T meter is below the orange line right here. That is the best setup to take when everything lines up right on that bar. At that point, you could be looking at a potential breakout, potential huge move. Okay, now I am looking at this on the 5-minute chart, so it's questionable if you're on a higher time frame, but I am looking at this on the 5-minute chart. Also, the same is true to the upside. Let's take an example right here. Okay, boom. We see the market lines up right there, above the green line right there. And look at that. All the bars are blue. Even the bar on the hourly is blue in this example. So we got all 4 bars blue. That's a bonus. So this indicates a lot of buying going on in the market. So we get a signal right there. Boom. 40 pips of risk. Eventually we get stopped out at 66 pips. So we make about 1.5. Now here's a good thing that I noticed is when you first enter the trade, wherever the 3-bar stop is, sometimes a good target to aim for is 2 times whatever that stop is. So in this case, our stop when we first entered the market is 42 pips. So I would be looking about for 84 pips to get a 2 for 1. And I get it right there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 50 minutes later, 2 for 1. So let's recap before we move to the next section. The best setups to take is when everything lines up on the break of the bar. When everything tends to line up on the break of the bar, those are some of the best setups to take. Here's one right here. Boom, there's the break right there. There's the 4 lower time frames right here. It's above the T meter. Okay, so here's what you may see sometimes. You may see a potential break and you get a signal to get in, and then boom, you get this where you get stopped out. Sometimes that happens because you get the market making a move, breaking out, and then it comes to retest that area. Sometimes it will not always be perfect. It may come inside a little bit, come inside and then turn around and then move up and then make one more retest and then continue up. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine if that happens. Now, that brings me to the next point of this video, which a lot of times people will let the EA manage to stop. Well, this is where it comes to in terms of looking at the market overall and allowing the trade to have some breathing room. Okay, when you get this right here, what's going to happen is you're going to be excited, you get a signal, and then boom, it gets stopped out. And now if you take one of those, then you may miss this one right here where you say, well, I already took a loss, I don't know if it's going to work. And then you miss this move right here. And it's like, okay, at that point, it's best sometimes to look at your risk, come and measure it when you get a signal. You get a signal here. Okay, there's 33 points, about 40 points right there. First signal, you may want to let the trade kind of work itself out. Now, that's totally up to you. If you don't want to, okay, you got a signal right there, and okay, you get stopped out. That's only 10 pips of profit of stop. That's okay. That's fine. But in some cases, though, when you're in a very tight range, very small range where the lines may look like that, and you get a signal to go long or go short, at that point, it may be a good idea to give the trade some breathing room. And the only way you can do that is by turning the EA or the expert advisor off and managing the trade yourself. Now, you don't have to do that, but in order to probably stay out of some chops or something like that, that's probably one of the best things to do. So the easiest way to do it is just to come up here and select the expert advisors, and just push it in so that it's off. When you see it's red like that, that means it's not working. That means that it will not manage the stop for you on a 3-bar reversal. But if you push it in like that and it turns green, now it means that it will manage the 3-bar reversal for you. So here's the thing, like I said before, you want to let the trade breathe in some cases, particularly if you look at your overall charts and see there's a very strong trend and you get an entry. At that point, you might want to take the expert advisor off, let the trade breathe a little bit, let it see if it's going to make a move past some highs. Now, obviously, if you're in a very volatile market and the trade hasn't moved in 40 minutes to an hour, it hasn't taken off, then at that point, yeah, you can kind of move your stop up or something like that. But the thing that you want to do is give the trade some room to breathe. Now, the last thing I want to mention is that whenever you're managing the trade, some of you all may get stopped out, and you look at the chart and it says, okay, it doesn't look like it should have hit my stop. Here's one thing you want to consider when you are trading, and that is the spread that the broker has fixed inside the price. Sometimes You may get up here to something like this or something like this, and it gets very close and it doesn't look like the candle touches it or gets close to it, and the trade closes in your broker account. Well, that's because we haven't factored the spread into the equation, and that's one thing you want to be very mindful of. Now, when you get 1 or 2 pips away, a lot of times you'll see some brokers trying to do stop hunting where they just make the trade just automatically just cancel out. That's fine. Don't worry about that. That's part of the game. Just keep following the system, keep qualifying the trades, and you'll be fine. Eventually you'll put the stop in places like this over here, where you'll put a stop right here, and then the market will take off. And when you get in these situations, it's very hard for the broker to manipulate price to make it go against you. Okay, that's the importance of following the trading plan. So that's pretty much the best setups to take. You already know how to qualify the trade. If you don't know the entry routes for the trade, you can look at them in the quick start guide, taking them inside the lines when it's testing the lines, or taking them on the breakout as well, either direction. Just make sure everything lines up, and as you get better with the system, go ahead, maybe you want to add an indicator, you want to add maybe the matrix to it or something like that. Just go ahead and click on your indicator and come down and select that one particularly. Any indicator that you want, just drag it onto the screen, press OK, and now boom, now you can see when you get a signal, you can see the currency strength over here, and you can see what every indicator is doing on every time frame, on the daily, hour, 4 hour, hourly, 30-minute, 15-minute, and 5-minute as well. You can see if the T meter is up or down, the dynamic lines, if they're in the buy or sell position, if it's flat. You can get all the information just from here. Okay, well, that's it for this video. Now let's go ahead and move on to our next video now.